stated, especially on yesterday, that I see so many friends, so many of you I know, and I would like to call your name, but you know I love you, and many of you have made solid deposits in my life. The longer I live, the more I'm convinced too much light might blind you. The longer I live, the more I'm convinced that there happens to be more of other people in me than there is of me in me. I'm a great debtor to so many. And I want to commend again the pastor and president, Dr. Woods, for his leadership and what God has done and is doing through him. I thank God for Dr. Key, the coordinator. Jesus said, one man sows and another reaps. We've all entered into other people's labels.
All right.
Pastor King is my driver.
All right.
And he knows how to get in and out of tight places. I know his people appreciate him, for he's such a kind and servant-like man. Thank you for putting him in the spot he serves.
All right.
Whenever you come to a meeting like this, you're not likely to remember what you said, because there's so many great voices and good preachers. You remember what you heard. Columbus didn't really need to send anywhere to get some preachers. For you got authentic and productive preacher pastors here. And the best a man can do when he comes here is some more preaching. I've heard with profit and with pleasure Alfonso on yesterday and Pastor Page with good effect. And then today I heard Carlos Malone. Where's Carlos? There you are, man. I think he's got a member in Miami who's a sister to a member that I pastored at St. John. And I hear she's been raving about him. I heard him with Prophet today. God bless you. We are caught in the Lenten season. we're moving toward Good Friday and Easter. And there is a lot of blood talk. A lot of blood talk going on. And I thought today, God helping me, that I would entitle my talk, The Blood of the Saints.
All right.
The blood of the saints.
All right.
Most of us are familiar with John 3:16, Gospel of John 3:16. William Barclay calls that verse every man's verse. But there is another verse. In 1 John 3:16. And I want to base my talk on that verse. Listen what John says in the King James rendering. Hereby perceive we the love of God, because he laid down his life for us. And we ought, that's an awesome oath. We ought to lay down our lives for the brother. Across the Christian centuries, we've made abundant much ado over the blood of the Savior.
All right.
And rightly so. Because the significance of Jesus lies supremely in his death, resurrection episode.
All right.
So the church has celebrated the blood of the Savior.
All right.
That's right. Blood of the Savior. Lustily and with gusto, we have repetitiously recited blood verses. Take heed. This is my body.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Sweet.
Drink ye all of it.
Uh-huh.
This is my blood of the New Testament.
Yeah.
Without the shedding of blood, there is no remission of sin.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
For we were not redeemed. We were not redeemed
No, that makes sense.
by carnal things, material things like silver gold, but by the precious blood. We've been blood talkers. The blood of the Savior. And in that eschaton picture that John picks up on Patmos, he reports, and they overcame him. Talking about the enemy. By the blood of the Lamb. And when the church triumphant and militant gathered in the finished moments, John said he saw a number no man could number. And they had the distinction that they had washed their robes in the blood of the Lamb. Rightly so. We've made much fuss over the blood of the Savior. Hal Lucock said he was up in Butte, Montana, and the person who was driving him, who was a citizen of Montana, showed him a hill. And he said to Dr. Lucock, "You see that hill yonder? That is the richest hill on earth." He said, so much gold and copper and silver has been extracted from that hill. That hill is the richest hill on earth. I don't know the driver, but I would like to correct him.
Say so.
The richest hill on earth is Calvary. On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross. Calvary. I heard Malone opening up with Jesus, keep me near the cross. There's a precious fountain. That's the richest hill.
Watch it.
I shall forever lift mine eyes to Calvary. That is the most gold-filled spot on this earth of ours. So we've done right to applaud and to appraise significantly and supremely the blood of the Savior. There is a fountain filled with blood, you know. And I have to keep plunging in it every day. you've done right to say a lot about Bilford, the blood of the Savior. But this religion of ours,
Yes, sir.
this Bible religion of ours,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mix it down.
does not simply talk about the blood of the Savior.
I see.
This religion has much to say about the blood of the saints. And if we're not careful, we'll omit that.
What you say?
We'll get all obsessed with the blood of the Savior and miss the other side of the blood spilling redemption. The blood of the saints.
Yeah.
If any man, listen how it, nobles, listen how it talks about our blood. If any man would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. The works that I do shall ye do also, and greater works than these. That's the same Jesus talking, who died on the hill. That's the same Jesus talking. Apostle Paul said, I rejoice in suffering, and I fill up what is lacking in the afflictions of Jesus Christ. Martha makes it say, Cage, I fill up what is lacking in the suffering of Jesus. Listen, we've got so much celebration going on. Such a procession of praise and hallelujahs, until we sound like all the time we're in a mere rest camp. But the real church is also on a battle line. That's right, Dr. Moss, we're on a battle line. We keep talking about the excitement, the ecstasy of our acquisitiveness, what we got. But we don't say much about the kind of allegiance that makes us give. We shout over the fact that we are more than conquerors. But we must never forget that this religion is not just about conquering, it's about casualties. Somebody's got to get hurt to help. Somebody's got to bleed to bless. Saints. You see, You see, history is both a human and divine project.
All right.
I won't say that again. History is both a human and a divine project.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of things that we want done won't get done unless we humans do it.
Say so.
We've left too much up to God. No.
Lord help.
Our God must, in some anthropomorphic fashion, must lament it sometime.
Yes.
I can almost hear him. Who will go for us? And whom shall we send?
My Lord.
I can hear Jesus in somewhat lamentation saying, the harvest is indeed plenteous, but the laborers are few. So I've shed my blood, but what about the blood of the saints? I won't tell you, any Christianity that's bloodless, however marketable, however it may sell in packed churches, is not messianic. It lacks redemptive energy. Over the New Testament is not simply the blood of the Savior, but the blood of saints. There is John the Baptist. New Testament's just dripping with saints' blood. Getting his head cut off. There is Stephen being stoned to death. Oh yeah, there is Peter, according to the best tradition, getting crucified. There is James being killed. There is John, the old man, pushed to the Isle of Patmos. Working out there, the blood of the saints, I tell you. And there are numbers that no man can number, who died in the dens of lions and in the domiciles of the catacombs. The blood of the saints. Or we go around just saying, I'm blessed. But I want to ask you, are you also bleeding? Blood of the saints. Glory to his name. I don't want to keep you too long.
Take your time.
But we'd better check on this prosperity gospel. As if you can have real spiritual and moral progress without pain. New Testament knows nothing of a painless religion.
Say so. Lord, say so. Lord Jesus. You right? Yeah. True. Yes, sir.
Blood of the saints.
Yes.
Like I told you yesterday, I've been preaching 50 years. And blood is everywhere. Some people look at you bleeding and try to make it be because you've sinned. Jesus bled because he had not. and because of other folks' sin. Well, now let me see if I can package this up in some potable fashion. See if I can give some systematized way of saying it and seeing it. If you're thinking about it, you must be asking, well, then when do we shed our blood? Don't look around, just check yourself. For one thing, looking at the Christ event, we shed our blood when we choose the hard way in order to help. Now, we shed our blood when we choose the hard way.
Lord help, Lord help.
Jesus' death becomes all the more significant when we contemplate the fact that he didn't die by compulsion. He died by choice. The death at Calvary was paradoxically, it was his choice.
His choice. What you said, his choice.
And yet, it was the Father's desire. Our religion is just pregnant with paradoxes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No man taketh my life. I lay it down.
Yeah.
I'm choosing. Choose the hard way. And if I lay it down, I'll take it up again. And Pilate, you all just hush, because you have no power. Except it be given from above. So there are legions of angels just waiting. All I have to do is give the order or make the request.
Go ahead.
Bless his name. When we choose the hard way. Why don't you go back and bleed a little bit? Choose. Do that hard thing. It was hard for Joseph to treat his brothers like brothers. But it was a bleeding of a saint. It was hard for David to treat Saul in a life-preserving manner who was trying to take his life. It was hard. It was hard to treat Peter. Peter, talking about I go back fishing and takes the church with him. And yet, on resurrection morning, Jesus said, tell my disciples. And Peter, it was hard for Jesus to pray on that hill, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. It's hard to pat people on the shoulders who are slapping you in the face. It's hard to keep smiling at folk who's in your cabinet but not in your coat. We got to have some bleeding saints. Man. A book came out some years ago, and the title of it was Redesign Your Home for Easy Living. It had 45 ways to do housekeeping. And women really grabbed at it. It just redesign your home for easy living. 13 ways to wash dishes. The delusion has gripped most of us that easy living is the best kind of living. Not so. Hard living is the kind of living, a living with a cross on your shoulder. That's the best kind of living. And what I want to plead with you this morning is to redesign your life, not for easy living, but for hard living. So I'm going back and speak to that woman who hadn't spoken to me. I'm going back, shake hands with that brother who never smiled. I'm going back, smile at that deacon who's daddy. I'm going back. Call up that preacher who misused me. Going back. See, I'm a bleeding saint. I'm going to do some hard living. Just riding in my good car and sleeping in my fine bed. That's not enough. Laying in my good car. I'm going back. But now listen. Secondly, we shed our blood when we use our advantages to the advantage of the disadvantage. No, y'all didn't get it.
Oh, my. Oh, Lord. All right.
Listen, don't go sleep on this. Listen. And there isn't any one of us in the room who can't be a cross bearer, who can't be a bleeder for the Lord. You just talking about getting blessings from the Lord and talking about all the successes you've had. What about all the sufferings you've given?
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, doctor.
We shed our blood when we use our advantage to the advantage of the disadvantage.
Yeah.
Lord, if white America would have done that, this nation would have been in much better. I heard Dr. J. Jackson say once that you can do three things with an advantage. First place, you can fence it in so nobody can get to it but you. And secondly, you can keep your foot on the people who are disadvantaged. You can just hold them down and press them. But then you can do that third thing. You can do what Jesus did. You can take your advantage and use it to the advantage of the disadvantaged. Now you talking about religion, that's religion. That's what Jesus did. He had advantages. And we were at a disadvantage. And Jesus took his advantages and used it to the advantage of our disadvantage. And we got out of that salvation. Thank God for Jesus. Jesus had stuff we don't have. Jesus had chronological advantage. He was older than all of us. Jesus had psychological advantage. He knew what was in all of us. Jesus had theological advantage. He knew God better than all of us. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. And then he had moral advantage. He was without sin. And out there on the hill, and on the third day, he took his advantages and used them to the advantage of those of us who were disadvantaged. Yes, sir. That's what blood shedding means. Some of us have a little advantage, little educational, little monetary, little domestic advantages, and we use them to the disadvantage of the disadvantaged. Shame on us. Shame. But finally, we shed our blood when we push our religion beyond mere personal concern and take an interest in the liberation of the demonic crisis in which mankind at large is caught. Some folks' religion is just me. But have you ever stopped to think that the cross is crossed out? I will say it again. The cross is Oh, God Almighty. Oh, yeah. And I've got this good news for you. If we suffer with him, we shall reign with him. If we know the fellowship of his suffering, we'll also know the power of his resurrection. Ain't that good news? Ain't that good news? I'm going to my seat.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
All I've been trying to do is resubmit that great hymn. All I've been trying to do is resubmit that great hymn. Must Jesus bear the cross alone, and all the world go free? And the poet answers, no, there's a cross for everyone. And there's a cross for me.